There are several common methods of persuasion, methods that people use to get you to believe something, but they aren't philosophical by nature. They're not really giving reasons to believe something. So I want to talk through some of these. One way of doing this to get somebody to believe something is make believing it rewarding or pleasant. So, for example, a seduction or offers of bribes or flattery. These often work when selling something or when an individual wants something from somebody else. These can be effective. Examples of these include Axe commercials of the 20 teens, where a normal looking male would use Axe products, and then suddenly beautiful women would come falling all over him wanting to be with him. And the idea, of course, they want you to believe that if you use their products, beautiful women will be irresistibly attracted to you. And it worked. Very effective marketing campaign. Here's just a common statement. So a candidate for president says, when I'm president, you will attend college for free. And that would be very rewarding and pleasant. And so you believe that, and then you might vote for that individual. A second method of persuasion that is very common, but without reason, is to make believing something else unpleasant. So this can work with threats or intimidation or mockery. It's often used in political commentary and certainly in political ads, but again in personal conversations as well. And so somebody might say of a candidate, he's not even qualified to be a dog catcher, trying to make you think that that would be really unreasonable to believe that person might be qualified for the office. Or to say something in particular like, you're voting for Warren? Do you really want the United States to become Venezuela? The idea, of course, behind that is if you vote for Warren, we will become like Venezuela, and the implications there being economically unstable. There's no argument in these claims. It's just trying to get you to believe that if you believe something else, that would be very unpleasant for you. You would have bad results. A third and extremely effective way to get people to believe something is simply to repeat it often. It's been said that, if you repeat something often enough, it becomes true. Well, of course, it doesn't become true by being repeated often, but sometimes people will believe it if it's repeated often enough. Different types of commercials fall into this category. Certainly, if you watch TV or videos online that have commercials, you'll see flow from Progressive or various Geico commercials that'll pop up constantly, at least when I'm recording this in 2019. That's the case. A fourth way of persuading someone to believe something is to say it very loudly and with great emotion. And this seems to be effective also. So somebody might say, if we don't build the wall, we'll be flooded with drugs and criminals and terrorists, right? The more emotion you put into it, the more loudly you speak, the more likely it is that somebody might be persuaded to believe it. Again, that doesn't mean it's reasonable to believe. Or, for example, impeach the liar, right? And that may be a nice chant that can be repeated. So you could use two methods of persuasion, combine them into one here with 3 and 4. You just chant it loudly and with great emotion and repeat it often. And that's all the more effective in convincing someone that your view is correct. A fifth way of getting somebody to believe what you want them to is to put your claims poetically, or maybe put it to music. And advertisers have known this for a long time. Nationwide Insurance used a jingle for many, many years, and it was repeated so often, again, using two of these methods in combination is very effective. But eventually people knew the tune for Nationwide so that they could hire Peyton Manning just to sing about his sandwich, and you're thinking of nationwide commercials as a result. Or the Kit Kat bar commercials, where they have a little jingle and tune that goes with it. And after a while, you don't even have to sing the words, give me a break. They just break the candy or do something else to make the sound, and you're reminded of the words. And things that are said poetically or in music help stay in your memory, and that will then influence you later. Now, finally, one might speak as if all intelligent and informed people believe something. You act like, of course, everyone knows this. And this is, in a sense, a form of number two, above. It's often in lines with someone who doesn't want you to believe something. So I heard once a commentator say, I'll leave out the name, but they said, so-and-so is an idiot. Everyone knows that. And there was no argument to get you to believe that. It's just talking as if, of course, anyone who has any sense would believe this. Now, unfortunately, some of these methods are sometimes used by professors and very bright people. But all 6 of these methods are bad reasons for you to believe something. So there are really 2 options when we have people trying to persuade us. So there are going to be people trying to persuade you. That's a fact of life. So you have 2 options in responding. One, you could be persuaded by these common methods. You could accept the beliefs of your friends, social media, culture, your parents, the internet, professors, all of these sources with little reflection. And unfortunately, that is the most common way that people respond in the world. These methods that I've mentioned are greatly effective. Millions, tens of millions, probably billions and billions of dollars have been spent on advertising, trying to get you to convince these things. It works, right? They would use different methods if they didn't work. A second option, though, is to critically reflect, especially on the most important claims, right? This option is to do some philosophy, to think very carefully about what is being said. Are you being provided with reasons to accept the conclusion, the point that they want you to believe? Now, this is much harder, and it takes practice, but it certainly is worth it. Doing philosophy is worth it.